Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going over a news report that President Trump has launched a MAGA PAC, an effort to stop or oust Republican Thomas Massie from Congress in 2026. So President Trump's political operation has launched an aggressive effort to unseat Kentucky Representative Thomas Massie, its first such effort to defeat a sitting Republican incumbent, according to Axios. So this matters because by going after Massie, Trump's team is looking to put wayward Republicans on notice that they're ready to play hardball. Massie recently attacked Trump over his strike on Iran, saying on X that, quote, it was not constitutional, prompting the president to fire back on social media on Truth Social that the congressman is, quote, not MAGA. President Trump called Massie a weak and ineffective and disrespectful to our great military and all they stand for. Massie was one of two House Republicans to vote against Trump's big beautiful bill last month, leading Trump to declare that he should be, quote, voted out of office. Trump's $500 million political apparatus is the most powerful, well-funded force in American politics, and it gives Trump a weapon with which to target any lawmaker who crosses him. Trump's team has launched Kentucky MAGA, a super PAC devoted to defeating Massie in the May 2026 primary. The organization will be run by Trump's senior political advisors, Tony Fabricio and Chris LaCivita, who are often helping President Trump in his campaign and on several other campaigns of Trump candidates and Trump surrogates as well. LaCivita said the PAC would spend whatever it takes to defeat Massie. Plans for taking on Massie were in the works before the congressman decided to call Trump's attack on Iran unconstitutional, a Trump aide said. So this wasn't just a spur-in-the-moment thing. This is something the Trump campaign and the Trump team has been looking at for a while. Trump's operation has been talking with potential Republican challengers to Massie for a little bit now. Aides say the goal is to rally around one Massie opponent so that multiple rivals don't splinter support in the vote. So try to make it a 1v1 race. They have a better chance of beating Massie that way, is their thought process. The Trump team earlier this month quietly commissioned a survey gauging Massie's support in his conservative central Kentucky district and found that the congressman would be vulnerable to a Trump-backed primary challenge. The survey, which was conducted by Trump pollster John McLaughlin, found that 52% would support a Trump-endorsed candidate and 23% support Massie. 87% approved of President Trump compared to 52% who approved of Massie, according to the poll, a copy of which was obtained by Axios. 74% of respondents said they were supporting of President Trump's big, beautiful bill. But Massie, who was first elected in 2012, easily survived primary challengers in the last three cycles. His advisors argue that his libertarian-minded, independent streak endears him to voters. Massie's longtime opposition to President Trump's working family tax cuts and really anything to do with President Trump is coming to an end, said LaCivita in a statement. Thomas Little Boy Massie will be fired, quote-unquote. Massie told Axios that any serious person considering running should spend money on an independent poll before letting swampy consultants take them for an embarrassing ride. Massie and Trump's contentious relationship dates back all the way to Trump's first term as well. In 2020, Massie opposed Trump's COVID relief package, leading the president to call for the congressman to be, quote, thrown out of the Republican Party. The congressman was one of only 6 House Republicans to endorse Florida Governor Ron DeSantis over Trump in last year's 2024 GOP presidential primary. Massie opposed a Trump-backed government spending bill this spring. Trump called the congressman, quote, a grandstander. So there's certainly some bad blood between Trump and Massie that have gone back a long time as well. But this is very interesting because this district right here, Kentucky's 4th district, which Thomas Massie represents, he's represented it for a while, since 2012. And the district, according to the Cook PVI here, this 4th district is a very heavily Republican district. 2025's Cook Political Voting Index has it at Republican plus 18. That is a safe Republican district that if that district is going to the Democrats, something would have really, really had to gone wrong for the Republicans. So essentially there's no possibility of the Democrats having a chance at winning this race. But that doesn't mean Massie cannot potentially lose a Republican primary. Just to show you some of the recent general election results here, it voted Massie in 2024. He didn't even have a Democratic opponent in the general election. So he won easily by 100% of the vote in 2024. In 2022, there was a Democratic opponent, but again, a Republican plus 18 district, Massie still won by 34 points against the Democrat. In 2020, Massie won by 34.2%. 2018, he won by 27.7%. 2016, 42.6%. 2014, 35.5%. And 2012, the first time he was elected, 27.2%. Before that, the district, which was at the time also a part of Kentucky 4, was a little bit drawn differently here. The Republican before him won by 39 points. So this is not a district that's going to be competitive at the general election level. And I know if any Democratic supporters or any Democrats are listening, you would hear this and say, well, can they make this race competitive? The numbers on the recent elections really don't suggest this race is going to be all that close. Even if Thomas Massie and whoever President Trump gets to run ends up having a messy Republican primary, there's really not a situation here that this race is going to be in play of flipping to the Democrats in 2026. I'm sure the Democrats would love for that to happen, but there's really not a path for that to happen in 2026. Now, so far, this district, which as I mentioned, is located in the northeastern part of the state along the Ohio River, includes the suburbs of Cincinnati and eastern suburbs of Louisville. In this district, which, as I mentioned, Thomas Massie was reelected unopposed in 2024. On March 11th, President Trump also condemned Massie for voting against the full-year Continuation Appropriations and Extensions Act of 2025 and remarked the great people of Kentucky are going to be watching a very interesting primary in the not-too-distant future. In June 2025, this is the latest news, Trump called for a primary challenge against Massie, specifically for opposing the United States strikes on Iran. Right now, only one other candidate in the race, Nikki Lee Ethington, a registered nurse, but in all likelihood, that's not going to be the main Republican to take on Massie. The biggest name that's been mentioned so far is Kimberly Poore Mosier, a state representative from the 64th District. She's the only potential candidate that is listed right now. State Senator Aaron Reed from the 7th District has already ruled out a run in this race. If President Trump were to convince him to run, maybe he could change his mind, but he has already thus far ruled out a potential run. But look, even with President Trump's support, unseating a U.S. representative is going to be a very difficult task due to the fact that Thomas Massie has a lot of name recognition, and President Trump going after him may even give him more name recognition, but he certainly also has a decent amount of cash on hand with $1.2 million, $1.2.5 million on hand. But having President Trump and the Trump PAC behind him can make this certainly a lot more interesting. The Trump-endorsed Republican, as that poll mentioned, was 52-23, so it could end up looking like the Texas Senate race with Ken Paxton versus John Cornyn, where if enough support is thrown behind the candidate against Massie, that would certainly give them the advantage. The problem, though, for that candidate is they're going to have to try and find a way to convey to voters that President Trump endorsed them, and that will be tough against Thomas Massie, who's going to be, without a doubt, the most well-known figure in that race. Is it impossible? No. Is it possible? Absolutely. But getting their name out there the same level as a Massie's without Trump going to that district and campaigning for them is going to be very tough, which I would bet President Trump will probably do, will be going to that district and doing a rally for that Republican to try and help them out. The Democrats do have 3 Democrats running, Jesse Brewer, Manice Dean, and Elizabeth Mason Hill. But again, as I mentioned, given how overwhelmingly Republican this district is, all political rankings have this race listed as solid Republican, and I certainly have it listed as Republican in my own rankings as well. But I thought this was very interesting. Make sure to leave a comment below, tell me your thoughts about this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in a future video.